Hello, internet humans. Let's play some more Vic-20 games. Now, I don't know if you can hear all of that. It's not my favorite. Hey, people in the 1980s, you don't have to add sound effects for the walking. It's not that important. But this, of course, I don't know. I assume that the Atari version of this game was the original. I don't know that for sure though. But I guess I think this is just a port of it, of Adventure. Which I know that you collect things and bring them back or something, but I never really played Adventure myself. But this seems like a pretty decent port. It runs pretty quickly. I don't know what is M. Is this a bad guy? Am I dead now? Oh no, the monster was very hungry. Oh, it just kicks us back. I would not recommend this as a first game to make, or an early game to make. If you're just learning game development. I mean, if you have something that lets you have a map editor, it might not be so bad, but if you're just coding everything from scratch, might not be the best. I would stick with one screen, kind of arcade style games. Also, don't put in the sound effect where you beep every time you walk. But yeah, I mean, your collisions here still, if it's tile-based, is relatively easy. It looks like the floor is always this yellow color, so you could like differentiate floor versus walls, and then have those other enemies. I don't know how I was supposed to move past the M guy, because he was taking up such little space. It also looks like the side traversal rooms are always the same. Which, if you were making this these days, I would actually make that different. Okay, I'm done with this. Okay, this is air defense or defense. I don't know. Let's do instructions. You must stop the falling bomb by exploding it in mid-air. So, oh gosh, we got U or D and L or R? What? U is over here, L is over there, D, R, I do not know. S and X. This is this is a terrible layout. And then spacebar. So right, cursor L or U. Okay, left, right, up, down, and then spacebar. This is gonna be terrible. Okay, the keys are not, well, I exploded that one. How do I move to the right? It's not working. I think it was lying to me. What was the other? D or R? S? How does this make any sense? We'll try these. We'll see. Nope. I can move up. Okay. Let's pause. Okay, I tried to press every key it could. I can only move up and down. Let's just assess this as a starter game. Would not be too hard, I don't think. You could even do this with mouse controls where you have to click on the object and you just have to check to see if your mouse XY coordinate is within this guy's XY coordinate. And if it hits the bottom of the screen, then, you know, do an explosion, have a countdown for that animation. I don't know why the cursor here doesn't work that good, but if it is tile-based, you could just check if they're on the same tile. Or if you're just using pixel-based movement, you would have to do bounding boxes. Or even like the distance formula you could do. So I was really bad at that, but it's a pretty simple game. You could implement it. Just make sure that your keys all work, because I cannot move left or right. Okay, this one seems like a more simple Space Invader sort of thing. There is a flying angle bracket up there. and you're trying to shoot at it, and you have to time your bullet shot to hit it. I don't seem to be able to like rotate my little gunner or anything. Just all the buttons I'm hitting cause me to shoot. So also pretty simple. You know, I can hit all the keyboard keys and see if anything else does something, but I think it's only shooting. I think that's all you can do. And you shoot things that go by, and you have a counter for... Oh, I just quit the game. So you have a counter for how many you hit. So really, you're stuck in one spot, you have a bullet, so when you hit a button, it generates a bullet item, and you can only have one at a time in this game. And then there's a thing slowly going left or right, so that would also be relatively easy. You could start creating the game just having one guy go to the same direction every time at the same position. You could also use random number generator to randomly choose a Y coordinate, so they'll go there. When you shoot, it's just going to be at the same XY coordinate every time, and then move up along the Y axis. And then basically you have to check to see if they hit each other, either by being in the same tile, or again, you could do distance formula or a bounding box collision detection. But then you just, you know, count your, I guess I had limited missiles, I didn't notice. But the amount of hits, the amount of waves, how many things have gone by. We'll see if getting all of the hits, oh, I missed that one. What the next wave looks like real quick. I think I need to shoot Nat. Oh, too soon. Okay. I only have 7 missiles left. We'll see what happens when I get 10 out of 10, if we get a second wave and if it's more difficult. Okay, so this is wave 2. Seems about the same. I have a little bit more missiles, but we have to hit 11. I was thinking maybe you'd get them going faster, or you'd have more on screen at once, which isn't really going to work with the gameplay since I can only do like one bullet every so often. Once it gets off the screen, it doesn't let me, or it lets me shoot only once it gets off the screen. But yeah, pretty simple. Okay, this one, Alfabug, it just seems like it's to teach you how to type the letters in order. So A, B, C, D, and so on. I can just type them all really fast. J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, V, W, X, Y, Z. And it's gonna kind of sync or queue up those inputs, so I'll just watch this now. But then you just watch the bugs get to the end. L, M. Okay, one was green. Let's see if it does it again. Oh, N to start. Okay. So, pretty easy because your inputs are just entering different letters in order. You could have this choose a random letter. You could store like an array of characters and store letters A through Z. You could randomly select from that array and have the user enter some random letter to, I don't know, I guess test their typing. And then I don't know if these guys, like the little bugs, have a different speed, but you just kind of move their X coordinate each time the user hits their input. So once they've hit an input, update state, everyone moves at whatever pace they move at, and you watch the result. So that one, this will probably have some like random in it, because what I would do is have like a random number. If the number is 1, then maybe they move forward. If the random is 2, maybe they sit there. Or maybe if it's 2 or 3, they sit there. So then it 1 in 3 chance of moving forward. That way it's not always like they're moving at the same speed. Like this is a slow bug and it's always going to go slow. This one just has bad RNG. But this would be pretty easy. This could be a pretty easy first game or early game to make if you're just starting game programming. Here's Alien Attack. So this one actually uses the cursor keys on the Vic-20 to move left and right and then fire. I'm just going to use my gamepad. Oop. The inputs are a little bit laggy, or or it's maybe not understanding what my inputs are. So again, everything kind of just moves at an even pace vertically. And I guess it just generates where they're going to be from the top. It looks like the wave is the same each time. So you can have kind of like a list of starting positions. I keep hitting these because the input's not very... Can I reset from within the game, or do I have to reset the computer? There we go. Okay. I don't know if you can hear the noise, but I'll turn that up a little bit more. So I would, let's see, how many do we have? It looks like 12 aliens. So in that case, I might have like a struct of XY positions, a struct for coordinate plane, or coordinate pair. Oh, hey, it changed. Do I need to destroy the big green before it comes down here, or just not get hit by the big green? We're just gonna hang out in between the aliens. Over. Come on there. I'm just gonna hang out here and see what happens. Anyway, so you'd have like your XY coordinate pair. You could have an array of 12 starting positions, and then every time your set of initial 12 aliens go off the screen, then you can move it back up to its starting position and have it come back down again. I don't know about this green thing. I guess that would just be more enemies that move, but it looks like it's not coming down anymore. But now I'm kind of... Oh, there's aliens inside the green. Ah! Well. Oops. Well. It looks like there is some variety, but in general, I don't think the gameplay would be too hard. It's just going to be your kind of Space Invaders sort of thing, except instead of the aliens moving left and right, they're just all moving downwards. You just have a bunch of aliens and they move down. And then you also can hide by going in between the little waves. So... Okay, so this one right here is just a actual Space Invaders clone. Which also, pretty simple gameplay because you, again, just have an array of enemies at some XY position. They move in a given direction, so that would be another variable. I just lost. Come on. I don't know what the start button was. Okay. Or is this a demo? What's going on? Let me play the game. Okay. So notice that they hit the edge and then they all start going the opposite direction. So you'd have like a direction variable to kind of decide if it's going a positive X direction or a negative X direction. Randomly choose when to put like a UFO up above. The hard part would be this, is like digging holes in your little base thing, which I probably would not bother to implement if I'm just starting with game development. I would just either have these degrade, like take 4 hits or something before disappearing, or whatever else. And then you'd have to check to see if you get hit by a bullet. So, it looks like we also have lives down here. I'll just hang out back here. So you'd count how many lives you have left every time you get hit. That would go down. That noise is annoying. I'm glad we can have better sound effects these days. But yeah, and then there's probably a state where if this guy gets to the lowest area, this Y coordinate, then the game is over. I'm guessing. I'm probably not going to stick around because that thing is really annoying. This one is Alien Overrun. I don't actually know what's going on here or how to play. It makes me want to play FTL though. I am pressing various keyboard keys and I don't see any changes. Is this a simulation of aliens on your spaceship? I don't know. Let me see what I can find. Okay, I did find a random web page that shows the controls. So A and D are left and right, W is up, X is down. So it seems like you're just supposed to avoid being caught by an alien for as long as possible. What does... Wait, that made my score go down, right? Okay, is green also alien? Why did that make my score go down? That sucks. And then we just walk around this spaceship. And if we get hit by an alien, then we die. The aliens got you. I guess you could then compete with your siblings or your friends for a high score. Yes, play again. What do I press? Buttons. So, I don't know what this difficulty slider does. Also, your character doesn't show up right away. And, like, I had to hit some of the characters first, but let's see. I guess, again, if you're choosing, like, this is empty space, it might not be too hard. These guys just seem to be moving randomly and then spawning randomly. And then there's collision on items. Like, I can't... Can I go in here? No. And my score doesn't go up while I'm in there either. Maybe that's like a hiding spot. Like the aliens can't get there, but it resets my score. So they're just gonna keep expanding over time. You could do something like just place an object here and say this is like an item, like an entity in the game at this position here with this width and height, and do bounding box collision to say you cannot intersect with this guy. Or again, if this is tile based, you could say you can't get on these specific tiles. I can't get on this tile or that tile. We can go here. If that happens, you reset your score, and then you just kind of have aliens spawn. It's maybe not the most interesting game. I can literally just sit here until more aliens come out. But it could be interesting. It'd be interesting to make this more like a little simulation game. Like, how do you avoid aliens taking over your ship? How do you hide and, I don't know, fight back when needed? Okay, this looks like a Lode Runner-like, which I kind of love these kind of games. Oop. Okay, it's called Alien Panic, so we have to avoid the aliens. And then I don't know, my buttons on my gamepad aren't doing anything, so I don't know if you're just avoiding aliens for as long as possible. But they're going back and forth. I might need to find a manual for this just to see if there's a win state. Okay, I found a YouTube video where it does look like a Lode Runner-like. However, I have pressed every button and I can't figure out what I can move, but I can't figure out how to move with the keyboard. And I can't figure out how to shoot below. So, but I guess we'll just... There's a pause button here. F1 pauses. So as far as implementing this, I wouldn't make this like the first game, but it still could be a good early game. You don't actually have to worry about physics in this game, even though it's a side-scroller, because you can only move up ladders once you're at this tile. You can only move left and right, and this one doesn't even have missing chunks where you can fall down from, so you don't have to worry about implementing physics or jumping. It'd just basically be like you can walk in this kind of tile area, you can move up ladders, and then you can leave ladders if you have more empty space. The enemies, I guess you could say, like, choose a random direction that they're going to go in and move in that direction maybe 3 steps, 5 steps, some random amount of steps. And then if they do get to a ladder, then they can choose to move down or up. They don't seem to go towards you in particular. They don't seem to be purposely trying to seek you out. But see, they choose to go in a direction for some amount of time, and then they kind of change their mind. So that would just be kind of like, oh, how many, maybe choose to go for 5 cycles, use like some random number generator to choose how long they're going to move that way for. And then based on where they're currently at, they can choose to go up or down as well. Then I assume you would just be trying to trap them in the floor, kind of like Lode Runner. I don't know if we'll see that happen here. See, since it moves so randomly and it doesn't seem to be like okay, that one, they killed that one. Okay, so with that, with your floor tiles, they would have a specific state and they would have some kind of timer. So when you open it up, it would be in a, let's say, open state. You'd have some sort of countdown timer that updates every time the game updates. And so that would count down until it restores back to a full tile. And then basically you'd have to have a check to see if the ghost is here while the floor beneath it is a hole. I guess you would just move it downwards, but also just trigger it as like a dying state, assuming that they can't get back out of the hole before time runs out. So kind of more sophisticated than like a super beginner game, but still doable as a more entry-level game. It would just take working on it and iterating and kind of doing like one little feature at a time. This one seems a little weird. I like the intro effects. It says press the spacebar. Let me see if I could use the gamepad. So, also slightly of Space Invaders like. And then music starts once you kill the first guy. Not great music. And then you have suitcases that you're trying to protect. Give me back my suitcase. I'm on a business trip. This isn't funny. I don't know what this purple alien is doing, just like leaking ooze everywhere. The music is quite discordant. It's stressing me out, this music. This is pretty sluggy, because this is just built possibly in BASIC with like the Vic character set. I'm trying to get hit. Oh, I got hit. So this one's interesting. It could be like you started with a Space Invaders. I'm just gonna let this play in the background while we point stuff out. So we'll hit spacebar. Oh, there's the music. I'm gonna turn that down. So you can have little things down here. You'd have different alien types, so these each have a different behavior. The hard part is going to be this guy and generating slime pools, I guess. Plague pools? I don't know what that is. Gosh, this music is so distracting. But it looks like these guys come down at a certain spot. They're like, we're going to pick up a suitcase. I would guess I would program the suitcase to have some sort of state as well, where it's like, is being carried. And when it is being carried, maybe give it the index of which enemy is carrying it so that it can stay with the same XY coordinate, just offset a bit. The plague gross alien. Let's see. So this one just seems to go diagonal. This one goes straight down. I don't know what the heck that is. This guy seems to be moving somewhat randomly, and then every place it moves, it changes the tile beneath it. So if you were having like a tile map in the background, you could change that tile map, or you could create a new quote-unquote enemy object every time this guy moves. So whenever it moves, take the last XY coordinate and generate a new quote-unquote enemy there, though this enemy doesn't do anything, it just sits there, but is still toxic to run into. So this could be kind of interesting, possibly more fun if you have a newer computer that you're writing this for, where it's more responsive. But it is interesting that you have different aliens with different behavior. My ears. We're just deep in all the alien games. Okay, left, right, and then shift for fires. Press return. I'm going to try my gamepad. Okay, well, that does work. And then what? I wasn't paying attention. What's the fire button? Oh man, that took so long to load. Now I have to reset it again. This is what ADHD does to you. It wastes your time. Such lovely intro music. Please wait. Left shift is fire. But the question is it going to work on my actual keyboard? Nothing on my gamepad. I don't know exactly how this web-based emulator maps things, but again, this just looks like a basic Space Invaders sort of thing, and you shoot at them. So we're gonna go ahead and just go to the next thing. How many of these are gonna be Space Invaders clones? Oh. Shakes the screen. This feels a lot like that Llamasoft game I played. Except they're not picking up humans and dropping skulls on me. Gosh, everything moves so fast. So the hard part here would be implementing the alien paths. Here, we'll just hit that again. So they're moving in a specific way. They're not moving randomly, so you'd have to have some sort of path instruction that you're implementing. Also that sound effect, oh my gosh. Just turn that down on my headset. So see, they're kind of following a path. You can see now that there's these two of them. And I guess they just keep going until I shoot them or whatever, but that would be the hardest part. You'd have to kind of figure out how you want to program in pathing. Either that could be a series of like XY coordinates it will be at. That could be just an array of coordinates and then it moves between those coordinates. You could have, I don't know, I guess that's the way I would do it. If it was like just moving in a circle, you could just do a math operation for that. Or like moving in a square, that could just be like move to the right 5 times, move down 5 times, that sort of thing. But here, I'd probably just have a set of XY coordinates that it moves between each time. And then you'd have to kind of offset your enemy location when you create them so that you have them not all on top of each other, but side by side. Where's my cursor? Okay, let's see what Alien Wars is. I did not get to read that. They're doing reset. At is the up key, colon is left, semicolon is right, and slash is something. Oh my. I do not know. See, the problem with emulating this is you have such different keyboard layouts for the Vic-20. Where's it good? This one has the layout. So it says colon and semicolon, which on my computer would be your shift button for colon and just a semicolon. But here it's 2 different keys next to the L. At is this key. Okay, so that's kind of where my square bracket is. We're just going to try that out and see if that works. Which I don't know. Am I moving? It seems like I can move to the left where I can... So see how it's moving away from me? I guess. I think it's kind of supposed to be like first person. I'm looked in. The other button isn't working though for like... Okay, I have to hold shift and do my button to get semicolon. And then if I go down, I can kind of lock in and do that. So this one also wouldn't be too hard as far as a starter game. The sound is really annoying. But it just spawns in an enemy at some XY coordinate, and then basically your inputs are kind of reversed. Like if you're hitting left, what is this, right? Right or left? I don't know. It basically just moves this guy based on what you pressed so that it appears to be in a first-person perspective. So if you're looking to the right, these guys are going to move to the left. Or if you're looking more to the left, these guys are going to move to the right. So it's really a pretty simple concept. You're just trying to get it into the middle of your screen and then hitting spacebar, and you can kind of check if it's in the correct spot. But that's pretty interesting, just bad controls. Okay, I think that's all for now. It would be cool to play some Commodore PET games, but first I want to try a lot of these Vic-20 games, and maybe they'll give me an idea for a game to make, but I don't know. They could be interesting game ideas for making in like a game dev tutorial, or just doing like a video on like, let's implement this entire thing all in a day, in a few hours, because they would really not be too complicated. But thanks for watching.